Hey, what's up? Welcome back. In this episode, you'll learn how to set up Twilio to send text messages using the noticed gem, where we're already sending emails using the noticed gem. You can go back and check out previous episodes to learn more about that. But in this episode, we're going to wire up Twilio to send text messages. So over in the Twilio dashboard, I've already got sort of my billing is set up. I've set up a payment method. I bought this phone number that we can use. So we're going to use this as part of our setup. From the noticed gem docs, if you go to the docs and then you take a look at the delivery methods, under the docs for the Twilio delivery method here, it talks about all the different ways to enable it. So let's head over to our new message notification that we already have set up, again, to send emails. And let's also deliver by Twilio. And we want to say, so by default, it's going to use our Twilio credentials, which are going to be stored in our Rails application credentials. And we need our account SID, our auth token, and our phone number set up. So I'm going to go drop those in real quick, and then we'll come back after those are set up and take a look. So these are the credentials that we need to set up. So I'm going to grab those. First, I'm going to grab the phone number that I have. You drop in the phone number just like that. And now we need to go to our account settings and grab our API keys. Grab my account SID and my API key, my auth token. And we're done on the Twilio website for now. Okay, the next thing we need to do is look at all of these different options. So we are not going to change the get Twilio URL, but we are going to override the format, and I'll talk about why. So by default, right now, when we send a new message notification, we are requiring that the param message is included in the body. That's because we have a model called the message model. And this is for like this two-way messaging between the guest and the host on this short-term vacation rental platform, where we have the from user and we have a to user. Now, the problem is, this message that is required when we're using Twilio is supposed to be a string. And instead of the string, we're passing in our entire content of the model object we're passing that in, the reference to the model object. And so instead of passing in the full, or instead of using that full model object here, this won't actually work out of the box. So what we need to do is we need to override this format for Twilio method when we're talking about delivering to Twilio. And so we're going to define a new method here called format for Twilio. And inside here, we need to specify this stuff. And let's see. So params notification should be just like the params that are on the existing object. And then this Twilio credentials thing is actually like rails.application.credentials.twilio and its phone number. And the other thing is that we need some way to track the phone number for the recipient. And right now, our user model does not actually have a phone number. So let's go add that. Rails G migration, add phone number to users. Now, if you name your migration just perfectly with like this add thing, and then like exactly the name of the columns and such with the table name at the end, and then you pass in all the different fields that you want to add, your migration will just like magically work for you. So we'll just say Rails DB migrate, and that should add the column for us to our users table. Now I'm going to go into the Rails console, and I'm just going to like update all users for now in test mode to set their phone number to this test phone number. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is go back to our new message notification. Is there anything else that we need to do here? I don't know. Let's try this out. So we'll go to Rails console and we'll say m is message.last, and then we want to say like new message.with message is m dot deliver to like user dot, let's see, to user dot first. And we'll see if I get a text message here. Okay. Boom. Oh, look at that. We got the message, but it came in as like, yeah, the message object, like the actual message object. So something isn't right. So the body, oh, that's because here we passed params message, and that's not actually what we want. We want like the content of the message, right? And so, all right, let's reload this and then try that again. And we should get test. Boom, test. All right, so here is this again. So we're gonna send this new thing with test. We get another test. All right, so test, let's go make a new message directly on one of these reservations. So we'll pull up a reservation here and we'll go to messages and we're gonna say like, this is a test from the dashboard. And we click send and that should send a text to us. Boom! All right, this is a test from the dashboard. Super cool. So now we're able to receive text messages when we have a new message that's in the dashboard. That is really cool. There are a couple other features to this notice gem though that we might want to enable. So let's go back to the README and just take a look. So we can say like, oh, we only want to send email if email notifications are enabled. So if the user has told you they don't want email, then you can stop sending them email. Similarly, we can also have each notification has this concept of being read or unread. And so what we can do is say we actually only want to send the email unless they read the message. So let's take a look at how we might handle that. So if we go to the messages controller, when we are on the messages controller, or like when we are on the index page, we can just assume that they've read all of the messages that are in that list. And so at this point, what we kind of want to do is go through all of the messages and mark them as read. But we don't want to mark every message as read because we only want to mark the ones that are to us, where we are the recipient. Otherwise, as soon as we send a message, we're going to be marking the message we sent as read. So here, I think we want to say like where messages.where the to user is current user, and then we'll make like a new method mark as read. We'll make a new method on the message object here. So we're going to say we'll make a class method self.mark as read. And mark as read is going to go through all of the related notifications for a message and mark all of them as read. Now, in order to do that, what we need to do is actually figure out which messages are related to which, or which notifications are related to which messages. And there is another helper, has notifications or has noticed notifications. So we want to call this sort of macro on the message class, so that we have these other methods that are available on the message object. Let me show you what I mean. So m is message.last. Now we can call things like m.notifications as message, and that will give us a result. I actually don't know what type this is. Class, is that? Okay, so it's an active record relation that we're getting back with all of these messages. So and then on that, I believe we can mark several. Can we mark several as read? I don't know. Mark as read. So it seems like we might be able to just mark all of these as read directly from here. Mark as read? No. Oops. Okay, cool. So that will allow us to mark all of the messages, or mark all of the notifications for a given message as read. Now, so I think we want to say something like all dot each, and then we want to say, give me all of the notifications. What was it again? Notifications as message. There's probably like a better way to do this so that it doesn't fire like a n+1 query, but I would assume that there aren't, I mean, there should be like at most 2 or 3 notifications per message. And so this shouldn't be too expensive. And then also there shouldn't be too many messages per reservation. So marking them all as read, I mean, at most we're talking about like, I don't know, maybe 50 queries or something. So it's not going to be huge. And okay, so let's see. So that should work, I think. So let's try this out. So we're gonna say, yeah, let's actually improve our dashboard here. Oh, undefined method mark as read for message. Oh, right, we want to map that and then flatten .h. I don't know, let's see. Okay, so from this view, we actually don't have any indication of whether or not a message was read or not. And read receipts are kind of annoying, but let's go add those to our messages index. So maybe like right after the content here, we can add, I don't know, another little thing. And this will say like, if the message has, what is this? Notifications as message. Dot first dot read at, like if it's not nil, then we want to mark it as read. So this read at property is part of the noticed thing. We can use time ago in words again. So we can say like read. All right, let's see. Here we go. Read less than a minute ago. Read less than a minute ago. Okay, so these were all read. All right, that's fine. So let's go back to our reservations and find one where we are the host and not the guest. And then let's go to the host reservations index, host reservation show. Let's add another link here. Link to messages, and that's going to be like the messages path for the reservation. Reservation ID. We didn't add this in the last episode. So now we have the list of messages. Nil can't be converted to a time value. What? I asked. Okay. So let's see. So what is this? What does this give us? All right. So that has a notification dot read at. Okay, but it's nil. Why? Okay. So if it's not nil, how is it? Wait, what? Okay. It's nil. And then I say, is it not nil? And it says true. I'm so confused. Okay. Is that nil? Why is it? Did I spell something wrong? All right. That gives us the notification dot read at is nil. If there is a read at, is this going to work better? Okay. All right. So now we don't see the read at notification thing. We have one message that was from us, and that's good because the messages that are from us, this one is from us, or from the host, wave at cjav.dev, right? So when we're talking about this message, sent less than a minute ago, there's no read receipt, so that is good. We're sending messages. All right, that's good. And we are, we are also texting those, so that is also good. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to see this message, the read receipt for this message. So if we find the reservation, R is reservation.find. This thing, r.guest, is wave plus guest at cjab.dev. So let's log in as them, and we should see that read. It should be then read, right? We should see like the read receipt or whatever. So if we go to, I don't know, what was it, 43, 47, and go to messages. Boom, read less than a minute ago. So as we read it, it was marked as read. So now both the guest and the host, they see when it was read, which is a little awkward. We probably only want to show like the read receipt for the other person, the other party, but at least this gives us the concept of whether or not a notification was read or not. Now what we want to do is talk about this like if or like unless read. So we only want to, maybe we only want to send the email after 15 minutes unless it was read. But this is kind of like a cool way that we can sort of enable or disable sending certain things based on priority. So there's another example of this in here where we have like, okay, they're going to get a message and we're going to send it to the database. And then if they don't read it in the dashboard after 10 minutes, then we send them an email. And if they still haven't read it in the dashboard after 20 minutes, then we send them a text message. So a couple really cool options there in terms of read receipts. Let's also enable this Twilio thing for our host booked notification, because in this case, I think it's important to know that someone booked your property via text, because it's like a pretty urgent thing. You want to be able to get back to the guest really quickly and let them know that you are sort of like, you're on it and you're excited to talk to them soon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In this case, we don't need the special format, but we do need to pass in another param, which is the message. So anywhere that we're using this host reservation booked thing, we need to make sure that we are passing in a message now too. So we can say like new booking, and then maybe we want a little bit more detail. I don't know, like reservation.guest.email or something. Maybe we also want like some dates is coming, and then I don't know, like reservation.start date. Okay, let's see if that works. Hopefully this works. This is going to be cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the entire reservation flow. So we're going to look at some listings, and I can't remember who I'm logged in as, but also, yeah, remember we dropped pins on the map. That's so cool. Okay, so if we go to maybe this like guest's property and say reserve, and now we're going to pick some dates in the future, maybe April 4th to the 7th, and click on reserve. This should be redirected to checkout. And after we pay for the booking, we're going to receive a webhook notification from Stripe telling us that we have a new booking, and that is going to trigger this host booked notification flow, or it should at least. And yeah, we have our webhook listener is up and running right here, so we should be receiving webhook notifications as this comes in. So I'm going to say book. Okay, so this is going to trigger several things. It's going to send an email to the guest. It's going to send an email to the host. And it's also going to send us a text message. Boom, new booking is coming, blah, blah, blah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is so cool. Yeah, it's really fun to like see stuff pop up on the device. And so, yeah, now we're sending all kinds of notifications. So no one is going to be surprised when someone shows up at their property, ready to stay, ready to book. So this was a really fun one. Twilio is pretty cool, but also the notice gem really makes this pretty straightforward and simple. So I guess thanks and shout out to Chris Oliver for building that and making that so nice. If you are enjoying this series, please subscribe. And if you want to be notified of future episodes, you can hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.